Hi everybody, it's Saltash Math Tutor, and today we're going to be going through interior and exterior angles. And I know a lot of people just really hate interior and exterior angles, and what does it all mean? Well, hopefully I'm going to show you some pretty corny graphics that I've done exactly what they are. So let's go to the next slide, and here we go. So exterior angles are exterior being outside, obviously. So here we've got the exterior angles outside the triangle, and that's what they are. And basically the way that I do them is quite simply just from the triangle itself, draw out a side, and then it's an angle there. Draw out the side, then it's an angle there, and that's the exterior angle. And it's almost like they're making a bit of a pattern that you can see. It's sort of a swirly pattern that they're making. Yeah, okay, enough of that. Now the interior angles are a bit easier to describe because interior is inside, and these are just the angles that you find inside any shape, and that's what we're actually talking about. Any shape at all. Can be a triangle, can be a square, pentagon, hexagon, anything like. That's what the interior and the exterior angles are. So there you go. Exterior angles and the interior angles. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is exterior angles, because there is something about exterior angles to every single shape that you've got, and it's always the same. Yes, that's true. There's something that's always the same. Okay. And this is it. If you'll see the shape here, and I've got my angles, my exterior angles that I had. I've got 3 exterior angles because it's a triangle here. And what I'm going to do is I've lifted them slightly away from the triangle, and I'm going to put them together. I'm always going to lift them off, and I'm going to put them together. So here we go. If I put this one over here, and if I move the top one down, and it's my drawing here, it's nothing fancy, but can you see there that actually makes up 360 degrees. The sum of the exterior angles here added up to 360 degrees. So just to take that forwards, here's not a triangle, it's not a triangle at all, it's a square. And you see that that's where the exterior angle sat, and I've just brought it out very, very slightly, just so you can see all of these right angles effectively, 90 degrees, would have sat in there, just putting it here. And we go through the same exercise as I did with the triangle, and I was going to basically take all of these angles and I'm going to bring them together. I'll bring them together, in fact I'll bring them together over here, and we'll see what happens. So there's the first one, and here is the second one, and here is hopefully the third one, and here is the fourth one. And hopefully you can see now that actually all of the angles, although again really shoddily drawn on my part, but you have got 360 degrees. So there's a triangle, here's a square. Well, if we added more sides, then you can try it out if you like, but you'll find that all of the external angles add up to 360. And because I'm, well, I suppose quite sad, I've done all of the external angles for a hexagon just for you, dear viewer. So you can sort of see hopefully where this is going, and if my super duper graphic works, I'm just going to slot the spaces into wherever they will go, and it's almost quite therapeutic. Well, actually, I don't know about therapeutic, it might drive you slightly bonkers after a while, I guess, but oh, we've got a smudge rather than a pickup of a symbol. but you see that they are all going to slot in. They are going to slot in. They will slot in eventually. And again, I apologise for the standard of my graphic here. I drew it, but there you go. There's the bit I'm trying to highlight there, which is that the exterior angles all add up to 360. Okay, so I've just pushed out the angles again, but here's something. The angles, these angles here, is there a way of working them out? Well, it's all dependent upon the number of sides you've got, because I've got one side here for this first angle, two sides for this second angle, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you saw that I moved the little angles, the yellow angles, into the middle, and they didn't form that's rubbing things out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all of those 6 made 360 degrees. So that must mean that each angle is worth 360, which is all of the angles, divided by 6, which means that each angle here is worth 60, which must mean that that angle there is worth 60 degrees. And that, there is the relationship between the number of sides. There are 6 sides, 360, because it's always 360 divided by 6, gives me my external angle value, and that's always the same. So if I was to look at that and say, well, in this triangle, the external angles, there are 3 of them, and we showed before in a previous slide they all came together to make 360 degrees. So that's each angle, and there are 3 sides, is 360 divided by 3, which is 120 degrees. So each of these angles here is 120 degrees. It is that amazing, everybody. That is the case. So the external angles, you just, however many external angles there are, which is the same as the number of sides, you divide by that 360 divided by the number of sides. 360 divided by the number of sides, which in this case for a triangle is the 3. Now for the interior angles, so how many degrees are in a triangle? Well, it's 180. And how many degrees are in a square? Well, it's 360. And the rule for the interior angles, the sum of the interior angles, i.e. if I added this one plus this one plus this one together, it would equal 180. And if I added these 4 angles together, it would come to 360. There is a rule for it, and it's to do with the number of the sides. And the rule is, it is the number of sides you have minus 2, whatever number you've got left, you multiply it by 180. And this is the BODMAS, whatever you call it, type rules that you apply. Now let's see if it works. And let's see if it works, because we already know, don't we, that the triangle and the square, we know how many degrees there are in there. Let's see if our dinky little formula works. Okay, for the triangle, how many sides have I got? Well, I've got, and I'm just trying to find, yeah, this colour will do. I've got 1 side, 2 sides and 3 sides. So I've got 3 minus 2 sides times 180. Well, you know what 3 minus 2 is? 3 minus 2 is 1. So it's 1 times 180. And 180 times 1 is what we've got there. So it works for the triangle. Let's see if it works for the square. So we've got how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 minus 2 times 180. Well, 4 sides take away 2 sides is 4 sides take away 2 is 2 times 180, and if you work that out, that equals 360, which is what we've got there. And it basically works for any shape you like. So let's try it out. Here is our shape, which, as you will know, is a 6-sided shape, which is a, you've got it, hexagon. So I'm just going to do the formula thing and find out what the sum of the interior angles is. And remember, everybody, all the bit there which says sum, all sum means is if they're all added up together, what's the total? What's the total of all of these angles here? Well, okay, how many sides have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we've got 6 minus 2, which means we've got 6 minus 2 times 180, which is 6 minus 2 is 4 times 180, and 4 times 180 is 720 degrees. So the total, all of those angles added up together, is 720 degrees. Now what you could do is, once you've found that out, and you might get asked this in the exam, you could work out therefore what an individual angle is, because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 of these angles. So on your calculator, or do it in your head, however you want to do it, that would be 720 degrees, which is all of the degrees inside the interior of the hexagon divided by 6, and if you work that out, you will come out with the answer as 120 degrees. So that's one example of how it could be given to you. Okay, everybody, I hope that's helped. I'm going to do a video which is going to be questions, just random maths questions to do with interior and exterior angles. But so far, that's the introduction. Hope that's been of some help. Comment if it has. If I've made any mistakes, if you want anything asked, if there's videos you want doing, fire away. I hope that has helped. This has been Saltash Maths Tutor. You take care.